Picture this, a bustling airport in Karachi, one of the beating hearts of Pakistan's economic activity, suddenly rocked by a deadly attack. The date is the 6th of October, last year. The echoes of explosions and gunfire fill the terminal, and when the dust settles, 2 Chinese nationals and 1 local citizen have lost their lives, while 6 others, including a woman, are left injured and traumatized. The world's headlines briefly capture the tragedy, but beneath the surface, this single event reveals a crisis with roots far deeper than most realize. A crisis threatening not just Pakistan's security, but also its economic prospects, social fabric, and global alliances. Today, we peel back the layers of the Karachi airport attack to reveal how it reflects an ongoing storm of unrest, regional power struggles, and the dangerous intersection of economics, politics, and terrorism in South Asia. Let's begin with what happened. The Counterterrorism Department, or CTD, has now submitted its final report, known as the Challan, to Pakistan's Anti-Terrorism Court. The investigation reads like a thriller. The alleged masterminds, Bashir Baloch, also called Bashir Zaib, and Abdul Rahman Gul, are not in custody. Instead, they have been officially declared absconders, meaning they are fugitives from justice. The authorities, invoking Sections 87 and 88 of Pakistan's Criminal Procedure Code, are preparing to seize their assets, a move designed to pressure them to surrender. Despite these efforts, the two remain elusive, adding a layer of frustration and urgency to the proceedings. The attack itself was anything but random. According to the CTD's findings, a man named Javed meticulously conducted surveillance of the airport, mapping out the best route and identifying vulnerabilities. A woman named Gul Nisa played a critical role, helping to transport a vehicle laden with explosives all the way from the troubled province of Balochistan to the sprawling urban landscape of Karachi, a journey of hundreds of kilometers, crossing multiple checkpoints and evading detection. At the scene of the attack, Javed and another associate, Siraj, known by the alias Danish, were present, but managed to escape in the chaos that followed. The suicide bomber, Shah Fahad, was allegedly radicalized by Bashir Zaib and Abdul Rahman Gul, highlighting the insidious nature of extremist recruitment. But to truly understand why such an attack occurred, we need to dive deeper into the complex history and simmering tensions of Balochistan. Balochistan is Pakistan's largest province by land area, occupying nearly half of the country's total territory. Yet, its population is a fraction of the national total, and for decades the region has been plagued by feelings of neglect, economic marginalization, and political exclusion. Many Baloch people see themselves as outsiders in their own land, denied a fair share of the rich natural resources, gas, minerals, and coastal access that are extracted from their soil. This sense of injustice is not new. Since the early years following Pakistan's independence, Balochistan has witnessed repeated waves of unrest and insurgency. Separatist groups, most notably the Balochistan Liberation Army, or BLA, have demanded greater autonomy, control over local resources, and recognition of their cultural and political identity. The BLA's attacks have grown in frequency and sophistication in recent years, a trend confirmed by multiple security analysts and international observers. As one analyst told Al Jazeera, the BLA's attacks demonstrate a growing resolve and capability in Balochistan, posing a significant threat. So why target Chinese citizens? The answer lies in the ambitious China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure initiative that runs directly through Balochistan. CPEC is designed to connect western China to Pakistan's Arabian seaports via highways, railways, and pipelines, promising economic transformation for both countries. For China, it offers a strategic shortcut to global markets. For Pakistan, it is touted as a path to modernization and prosperity. But for many in Balochistan, CPEC is a double-edged sword. While the official narrative celebrates development, local communities often see little benefit, fearing that their land and resources are being exploited for the gain of outsiders. The murder of Chinese workers in Karachi is not just a tragedy, it is a symbolic act, targeting what the attackers see as both the agents of economic exploitation and the backbone of Pakistan's international partnerships. Pakistan's response to such incidents has been forceful and, at times, draconian. Since the year 1997, special anti-terrorism courts, ATCs, have been established to expedite trials and deliver swift justice. Pakistan's counterterrorism laws are among the harshest in the region, allowing for preventive detention, summary trials, and even the death penalty for terrorism-related offenses. The government's approach is rooted in the belief that only strong, decisive action can contain the threat of militant violence. Yet, these measures come with a heavy price. Legal experts and human rights advocates warn that the broad definition of terrorism sometimes leads to the misuse of anti-terrorism courts. Cases unrelated to terrorism, such as those involving blasphemy or political dissent, are occasionally tried in these courts, raising serious concerns about due process, judicial integrity, and the erosion of civil liberties. Despite these hardline tactics, the Balochistan insurgency has not only persisted, it has evolved. Attacks have become more frequent and complex. According to regional security data, the number of terrorist incidents in Pakistan increased in the year 2022 compared to the previous year, with Baloch militant factions contributing a significant share. The BLA is believed to operate from safe havens in southern Afghanistan, taking advantage of the porous border and the instability in neighboring regions. This cross-border dynamic complicates efforts to root out militancy, as Pakistan's military and intelligence agencies struggle to secure vast, rugged terrain stretching from the mountains of Balochistan to the urban centers of Sindh and Punjab. The international dimension of the crisis cannot be overstated. China, as Pakistan's closest economic partner and the main investor in CPEC projects, has already signaled its impatience. The deaths of Chinese nationals send shockwaves through the diplomatic corridors of both Beijing and Islamabad. For China, the safety of its citizens abroad is a top priority, and further attacks could slow or even halt future investments. The United Nations has stepped in, blacklisting key suspects like Bashir Zaib and Abdul Rahman Gul, subjecting them to asset freezes, travel bans, and arms embargoes. Yet, as a United Nations Security Council official observed, designating individuals aims to curb their operational capabilities, but without local reforms, the cycle will repeat. Meanwhile, the legal drama continues in Pakistan's anti-terrorism courts. The proceedings are highly charged, with families of victims demanding justice, prosecutors seeking swift convictions, and defense attorneys questioning the fairness of the process. The masterminds remain at large, and the authorities' inability to apprehend them raises uncomfortable questions about the effectiveness of the state's security apparatus. In the public eye, the attack is no longer just a crime. It is a mirror reflecting Pakistan's deepest political, economic, and social vulnerabilities. What happens if these underlying tensions are left unchecked? The consequences could be dire. Experts warn that if hardline security tactics remain the primary response, violence could escalate beyond current levels. A possible merger of Baloch militant groups, as some analysts have speculated, could lead to larger, more coordinated attacks, threatening not only Pakistan's internal stability, but also the interests of foreign investors, especially China. The Karachi airport attack is not an isolated event. It is part of a broader pattern of attacks on economic infrastructure, foreign nationals, and state symbols. Each incident deepens societal rifts, inflames mistrust, and erodes the sense of national unity. But there is an alternative path. Pakistan could pivot from a security-first approach to genuine engagement with Baloch communities. This would require addressing the root causes of alienation, economic marginalization, underdevelopment, and lack of local autonomy. It means ensuring that mega-projects like CPEC truly benefit the people of Balochistan through job creation, revenue sharing, and investment in education, health, and infrastructure. Local leaders, if empowered, could help bridge the gap between Islamabad and the Baloch heartland, fostering a sense of ownership and participation in national progress. International sanctions and designations, like those imposed by the United Nations, have a role to play, but their effectiveness depends on the willingness of governments to enforce them and on the strength of international cooperation. Without robust regional efforts, particularly collaboration with Afghanistan to deny militants safe havens, counterterrorism measures will likely fall short. The challenge is compounded by the existence of extremist ideologies and domestic radicalization, which cannot be defeated by force alone. As one counterterrorism expert from the European Union has noted, media outlets lack specialized journalists for reporting terrorism, radicalization, and violent extremism, leading to misinformed public discourse. This creates fertile ground for conspiracy theories and further polarization. There are also important opportunities for positive change. Enhanced intelligence sharing among security agencies, reforms to ensure that anti-terrorism courts are not misused, and specialized media training to accurately report on terrorism can all contribute to a more resilient society. Stronger community policing, investment in youth programs, and dialogue platforms can help stem the tide of radicalization. As one political analyst in Pakistan remarked, treating the Baloch population as a security threat exacerbates the insurgency, alienating communities and fueling resentment. Let's take a moment to explore the historical parallels. The situation in Balochistan is reminiscent of other regional insurgencies fueled by grievances over resource distribution and political exclusion. For instance, the troubles in Northern Ireland during the 20th century illustrate how heavy-handed security tactics, in the absence of meaningful reforms, only deepened the cycle of violence. It was only when dialogue, power sharing, and economic revitalization became central to the peace process that real progress was made. Similarly, the resolution of the Aceh conflict in Indonesia was achieved through a combination of autonomy, resource sharing, and international mediation. These examples underscore a critical lesson. Sustainable peace requires more than military might. It demands inclusive governance and justice. Going forward, several scenarios could unfold. If security operations continue without addressing underlying grievances, the insurgency in Balochistan may persist or even intensify. This could lead to more frequent and deadly attacks, greater instability, and a heightened risk of regional spillover. Pakistan's relationships with neighboring countries, particularly Afghanistan and Iran, could suffer if cross-border militancy remains unchecked. Increased international pressure and sanctions on designated terrorists like Bashir Zaib and Abdul Rahman Gul could limit their operational capabilities, but this will only be effective if enforcement is rigorous and if other countries cooperate. Alternatively, a more promising scenario would see Pakistan embark on a comprehensive strategy that combines security with genuine political and economic reforms. This would involve sustained investment in Balochistan's infrastructure, transparent management of natural resources, and mechanisms for local decision-making. International partners, including China, could play a supportive role by insisting that their investments benefit local populations and by supporting education, health, and social welfare projects. Enhanced regional cooperation could also help address the root causes of militancy, fostering stability and prosperity. For you, the viewer, the Karachi airport attack is more than a headline. It is a global case study in how cycles of violence are perpetuated when root causes go unaddressed. For business leaders and investors, it is a stark reminder that economic opportunity is inseparable from political stability and social justice. Ignoring local grievances does not make them disappear. It turns them into flashpoints for unrest. For policymakers and security professionals, Pakistan's struggle highlights the limits of force and the need for inclusive governance. For academics and researchers, the situation offers fertile ground for studying the complex interplay of terrorism, state response, and the politics of identity. For ordinary citizens, both in Pakistan and around the world, understanding these dynamics is crucial. Media headlines rarely capture the full complexity behind each incident, yet public awareness and pressure can push governments toward solutions that are both tough on terror and fair to communities. Building trust in institutions, ensuring judicial integrity, and promoting responsible journalism are all essential components of a resilient society. Here's a surprising fact. The very legal tools designed to fight terrorism, such as Pakistan's anti-terrorism courts, are sometimes used to prosecute cases as far removed from terrorism as blasphemy or political activism. This blurring of lines between justice and control is a stark reminder that the fight against terror is not just about catching criminals. It is about upholding the rule of law and building faith in public institutions. As history shows, overreach in the name of security can breed the very instability it seeks to prevent. Let's not forget the human cost. The families of the victims, Chinese engineers, Pakistani workers, and bystanders, are left grieving, their lives forever changed by an act of violence that was, in many ways, preventable. Their stories are a call to action for leaders, citizens, and the international community alike. The choice before Pakistan is clear: continue down the path of endless security crackdowns and courtroom battles, or turn toward dialogue, development, and inclusive governance. So, what is the real path to breaking the cycle? Is it more force or more dialogue? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss our deep dives into global security, economics, and technology. For more analysis and stories from the world's hotspots, stay tuned to our channel. The future of Pakistan, and of regions like Balochistan will be shaped not just by the next headline, but by the choices made today. Will those choices be guided by courage, vision, and cooperation? Or will the cycle of violence and mistrust continue?